From the Aishin Broadcast Studio, it's AMN Drivetime, brought to you by Aishin.
AMN Drivetime is sponsored by Aishin, your trusted and reliable source for aftermarket automotive components and technology. Visit AishinAftermarket.com for more information.
John, welcome to AMN Drivetime, sponsored by our good friends at Aishin.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this and talking about DMA.
John, for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, please walk us through your aftermarket career. And for those that may not be familiar with DMA Industries, can you take a few additional moments to talk about your company, your products, and where DMA fits in the aftermarket industry?
Well, you bet. I'd like to start out with saying 30-plus year veteran of the automotive aftermarket. Kind of putting a little age on myself there, but it's been a great experience and a wonderful journey. Coming right out of University of North Carolina, went to work for Goodyear, and that was my entrance to the automotive aftermarket. Ultimately ended up with Kelly Springfield Tire Company, their subsidiary. That kind of introduced me to the world of private label and customer-specific management, and had a wonderful career there. I ended up leaving and going to work for another Fortune 500 in the aftermarket, and spent a couple of years in Asia. Ultimately moved my family over to Europe and ran a business unit for them in Europe, covered Middle East, Western, Eastern Europe, Northern Africa. And in 2021, right after 9/11, things in the expat world, changed forever. And so decided to come home and move back to the U.S. And I jumped into the world of entrepreneurship and decided to get in business for myself. And so July of 2002, opened Atlantic Automotive Engineering. We were a rack and pinion and power steering pump specialist, remanufacturer. Went to China in 2004, found a partner, built a factory, started to manufacture brand new racks and power steering pumps, and became one of the first in the aftermarket to launch a new alternative for that segment of the business. And DMA was really an offshoot of Atlantic Automotive. A company reached out to me. In fact, I'd had dinner with their chairman a few times and didn't even really realize it. And they were in the ride control business, and shocks and struts, and they were looking to come to the North American market, needed a partner. And, we ended up connecting. And so in January of 2008, we started DMA. Wanted to separate it from Atlantic Automotive because that, again, was very specific to steering, had a niche there. 2008, I think we were all aware of kind of what was going on in the marketplace back in 2008. It was a great time to decide to start a business. So, but the cliche, if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger. And I think, it has proven to be the case. We had the resilience of starting the company in a pretty economically difficult time, but that turned out to actually be a windfall for us. It opened a lot of doors, changed a lot of mindsets. A new company on the block, coming with new ideas and new product offerings. The doors were open and people were looking for options and willing to listen. And so, DMA started 2008, 16 years later, here we are. Started as a ride control. Now we've diversified into a number of different other categories of products. And, our business is now manufacturing in 12 countries. Our 12 product lines, 8 countries, not just in China. And we've diversified ourselves out. little over 200 employees here in the U.S., 1,600 internationally, about 1.8 million square foot of distribution here in the U.S. And the runway out in front of us continues to grow. Very fortunate. We've been on an expedited growth curve here for the last 7 or 8 years, and I attribute that to the principles that started the business, and the hunger, if you will, the entrepreneurial spirit that started the company all the way back in 2008.
So we share something in common, John, because I graduated college in 1984, and my first job was with a Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. And
okay, there you go.
I started as a retail sales manager in the stores. I don't know if you started at the store level, but that's where I started.
Well, that's I was in their sales management training program and ended up on the, like I said, ended up on the private label side as account manager for Sears and Tire and Battery Corporation and some of the other guys. And then my sales career took me over into product management and product development, and ultimately became a director of product development. And that kind of took me down the product path.
I know Kelly very well. They're in Cumberland, Maryland, right? When they're in Cumberland?
That's right. Yeah, right there. Met my wife in Cumberland, Maryland, 32 years. So
Fantastic.
that's there you go.
So, John, you touched on it a little bit, but your company's experienced amazing, to use your word, exponential growth over the last 10 years or so, and you've been named among North Carolina's private mid-cap fastest 40 growth companies for 7 consecutive years. Pretty darn consistent, right? Maybe just elaborate a little more about what you attribute your success to, and looking to the future, John, how will DMA continue to be successful and differentiate yourself from your friendly competition?
Sure. Well, I first of all, I contribute our success to the wonderful group of our management team and the wonderful group of associates that we have working here. It's not a one-man show by any stretch of the imagination. It takes a collaborative, strong leadership team, and everybody being on the same page and focused around the customer. I think our resilience over the years has been that we've learned that our differentiator is being a flexible, nimble company. We've had to adapt and modify as the industry has changed, but also as our customers have changed. We don't sell cookie cutter. Everything in our world is customer specific, very detail oriented, not only to their operation or their product need, but whatever happens to be what they perceive as their opportunity or their challenge. And over the years, we've evolved from considering ourselves a supplier of products. We now view ourselves as a company of solution providers. And to be a good solution provider, you've got to be data centric. So we've evolved as an organization to be very analytical, everything data based. Our customers want to see us bring that data to help them improve their ultimate sale of our product, whether that's directly to the consumer or through their distribution channels. They look and turn to us to help manage that complexity and bring forth solutions. And I think long term, that's what has propelled us over the last 16 years. Looking to the future, continued innovation, continuing to bring innovation and technology into our business, focusing around how to use AI and other forms of technology to improve. As they say, we have to learn how to do more with less. It's not a people replacement thing. We're not looking to use technology to limit headcount. That's not the goal. The goal is to eliminate the mundane, routine data collection, data structure, and give our employees back the time to spend on the more value-added side of analytics, right? And so less time gathering data and organizing data, more time in understanding the data and coming with solutions. And that's where I see, technology can be huge beneficial. On inventory control, for example, in our operations side of our business, we've turned to RFID technology. The 1,000,008 square feet of distribution space, somebody puts a pallet in the wrong place. It's like an Easter egg hunt to go find it, right? And so through RFID technology, it's literally like having GPS in your own facility. If a mistake is made, you can pinpoint, you can find it. You take that technology and you marry it with AI, which, by the way, I don't like AI. I call it intuitively technology. So you marry those two together, and now suddenly, you're generating, better pick patterns. You're moving product up in the space closer to the pick as its popularity starts to change and ebb and flow with your customers' demand pattern. And so I think the road ahead for us, the way we stay on the forefront, is by continuing to evolve our internal processes, never becoming complacent, never looking to be that cookie cutter supplier, always listening to our customer. Most importantly, developing what it is, whether it's a product or a solution to a business problem, and then delivering that with excellence. And that really is where we see our past success and our future success remaining.
John, for companies experience rapid growth, such as DMA, workforce development it's a critical part of the success model. You just touched on it a little bit, right?
Sure.
Finding and retaining skilled worker, it's a challenge for everybody, right? They say it's more than ever now. I don't know. It just seems like a challenge all the time and will be in the future. What are you guys doing to attract and develop talent in your business?
Well, it is most definitely one of our challenges. Obviously, COVID, back, with COVID, that expedited the problem, if you will. But even coming out now, things are getting a little better. But the problem of retaining, attracting, retaining, and developing and building the bit strength, it's always been a business case problem, right? And so I think at DMA, especially with, I'll say, the younger generation, right? The new generation coming into our business, they view the world differently. They want to be engaged. They want to work for a company where they feel that their work is not only valued, but more importantly, making a difference. If they're not impassioned by their work, doesn't matter the size of the paycheck, doesn't matter the size of the PTO, the days off they have. There's a real need to fulfill that part of the project. So we're really focused on the experience, the culture here, and that we build around an environment where, whether you got 30 years experience or whether you've been in this business for 2 weeks, you're able to be engaged in the process of serving our customer. You have an open doormat for putting your ideas, your concepts on the table. We're not trying to put people in their cubes and keep them there. We're building a collaborative environment where, maybe it's not your sandbox, maybe you're in product, but you see an issue in supply chain. You're in an environment where you're encouraged to speak up. You're encouraged to put your 2 cents on the table versus, being penalized or somebody telling you to get back in your box and stay there. So I think we've had to adapt our business style. We've had to create opportunities for the younger staff to feel like they can come here and really make a difference. And we say we're a company that's built on passion, and we want people to be here to enjoy what they're doing. I've had so many opportunities in the automotive aftermarket. It's fulfilled my life's, work desires and career opportunities. And I feel like there's no better moment than today with all the change that we have, EVs, et cetera. There's just so much going on in our industry that it's a wonderful time to be coming into our industry. But we as companies have to change our mentalities around how we invite people into our companies and how we keep them here. That's what I would say.
John, you and others in your business have been very active supporters of the aftermarket over the years. You currently sit on the Auto Care Association Board of Directors and have played a significant role in support of right to repair. How would you describe the current state of the aftermarket, and what are some of the biggest challenges and biggest opportunities you see right now?
You bet. Well, I would just answer that by saying I think the automotive aftermarket has a tremendous amount of opportunities in front of it. When I speak to right to repair, first of all, I think we're all a little disappointed that we didn't get the outcome that we were hoping here a few weeks ago with the right to repair bill. But a little shout out to Bill Hamby, our CEO over at the Auto Care Association, and Alicia Forche, our Senior Vice President in Government Affairs. They have worked tirelessly on the efforts that have been put forth, and a number of people in the association and within the industry. Although we didn't get the progress that we had hoped, it's not for nothing. We've made such good progress in communicating the situation and understanding how that impacts the automotive aftermarket's future. And we're going to build on that. So the fight's not over. In fact, it's time to double down. It's time to take that progress that we've made and continue to regroup here, and that's exactly what the team is doing. And they'll be putting forth their plan to us in the next few weeks of how exactly to continue to build on the momentum that we've created this past year. And when the new Congress comes in after the first of the year, we'll be ready to hit the ground running. And I know we're going to get this across the goal line. We have to. Is how we continue to attract young talent at the technician level into our industry. They have to see that there's a future here in this business and in this industry. And so it's our number one fight, in my opinion. It's our number one challenge, and it's something that we really have to double down on and make sure that we get across the goal line. And I'm pretty confident that we'll do. In general, we're cautiously optimistic on the aftermarket. The great thing about the aftermarket is its resilience. So we tend to do well in recessionary times, and we tend to do great in good times as well. Certainly speaking to the undercar side of hard parts. Accessories and performance, maybe that's a little more cyclical and consumer spending driven, et cetera. But in the world of hard parts, our history has shown that we're pretty darn resilient given the market. And it's one of the reasons we see a lot of PE guys jumping into our segment, right? I mean, they've certainly understood and have seen that trend and understand it's a good space to invest. And so I think the opportunities looking forward are plentiful. We certainly have our challenges. Supply chain disruptions continuing, fortunately. The strike we had here on the East Coast with the ports only lasted a few days. But those few days, we can't lose sight that those few days actually result in about 6 weeks of disruption. So got about 2 weeks before the strike, everybody plan B, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? That's non-value added time. And then the strike occurred, and you're jumping through hoops and you're thinking, and only lasted 3 days, but now you got a backlog, you got ships backed up, and it's going to take 6 to 7 weeks for all that to work through. and to get back to a sense of normalcy. And all that comes at an expense. All that comes in with disruption. So supply chain is still going to be, in my opinion, go forward, one of the big challenges that we're going to have to continue to work on. Tariffs are another. Regulatory concerns that we got to keep our eyes on all of these things. We got to keep a battle plan in place to help this industry. And on the repair side, I'll just give you a quick story. Happened last week. My oil pressure light came on my dash, and so called up my Ford dealership just to see how they would react. They told me 6 days before I could bring it in just for diagnostics. And once they did the diagnostics, I was probably looking at a week and a half to 2 weeks before they could get me on the repair docket to fix whatever diagnostics said it was. And then their final comment was, it's really not a good idea to drive the vehicle while that light's on your dash. Like, oh, okay, well, that's extremely helpful. Case in point, called up my local guy, trusted for years, Averill Automotive, a little shout out, Napa Car Care Center. Dropped my vehicle off that same day at 2 p.m. Jumped all over it. They were able to get the part in that day. And at 8:30 the next morning, went over and picked it up, all resolved, all taken care of. I'm back on the road and I'm moving forward. And in fact, the tech stayed late to make sure that my car got fixed so that I could pick it up the next morning. And so this is what we are in the automotive aftermarket. This is the differentiator between us and the dealerships. We understand how we impact the lives of the consumer. We understand why it's important in what we do. And we have people that are impassioned to serve customers like myself and my problem with my vehicle in a whole different level of customer satisfaction. And so, that's why right for repair, in my opinion, is our biggest fight. We can't lose that. We got to hold on to that, and we will.
What a great story for all our listeners and watchers to tell their congressmen and senators, right?
Absolutely.
That sort of sums it up. A great little story. It sums it up, right?
Absolutely. And by the way, if you're not engaged today, we need everyone in this industry, whether you're a technician or a shop owner, to a parts distributor, to a manufacturer. We need everyone to engage and engage now. We have lots to do. If you're not sure how to do that, send an email over to the Auto Care Association. They'll get you plugged into a work group because there's plenty of work to be done. But we need everyone's help.
So, John, again, looking ahead, I know this is tough to do, but any predictions for the future of the aftermarket? Not just short term, but what trends do you think are going to shape the industry in the next 5 to 10 years? I know that's a tough question because sometimes we don't know what's going to happen a year from now, let alone 5 or 10, but you've got pretty good vision, I think.
Well, it's, look, it's, I wish I could tell you my crystal ball was perfectly clear, but it's as cloudy as everyone else's. I think my advice would be, look, whatever the future holds, you and your organizations have got to just be flexible and nimble and ready to adapt, right? The word of the moment is adaptability, to be able to take on whatever is coming our way. Predicting the future doesn't always work out. Looking down the road, obviously electrification is here to stay. I'm not saying EV is going to take over at the pace that it was originally predicted. I don't personally believe that, but electric vehicles have a place in the market and they will continue to evolve. But combustion engines are going to be here for a long time, and so as a company, we have to learn to serve both. right? And that's good because that's opportunity. That's new part types. That's new challenges. That's new needs. That's new repair opportunities. And so that all brings about commerce and new ways of growing the business. And I think it's for important for a company, any company, but certainly our company, to have an eye towards the future, understanding what those trends that are going, and to be quick to react, right? And so, again, as we've already talked, we're looking to technology. How do we bring technology in? What are the parts of the future for the vehicles of the future? Working with our customers to understand how their businesses are evolving, right? Because just as our business is going to evolve as a result of how our customers' business is going to evolve. And so how does the consumer want to continue to be serviced? How does the consumer want to continue to buy? All of those things will come into a bit more clarity going forward. But I like the markers that I see. We're cautiously optimistic, but miles driven is growing. The car park age is still very, very in good shape for the aftermarket, right? We're a resilient industry, and we have, in my opinion, a lot of opportunity go forward. We certainly have our challenges, but we're optimistic for the future for sure.
So John, great job. As you probably know, if you've seen some of our drive times, it is tradition to do something called lightning round. And I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're going to give me a quick answer. Top of mind.
Okay.
All right. All right. Are you a DIY guy or a DIFM guy?
I'm a DIY. So I like getting my hands on it. I'm not afraid of getting some dirt under my fingernails. I'm inquisitive about how things work, always have been. And, but that having been said, I'm smart enough to know when I need to turn it over to the professional. So, I'm not going to go out and tackle everything. I'm going to tackle what's within my capability. And then I'm going to go get the expert involved to help me out.
You know where to draw the line.
Absolutely.
Who was your childhood hero?
Oh, wow. It's kind of cliche as this may sound. I'm going to say my dad. Really learned a lot from him. I think the time that he took with me as a child, he was a business person, but he always engaged me. A large part of my passion for business is because of how he engaged me early on in his world. He was automotive. On the textile side, his company manufactured carpet and headliners, and so I have a little bit of automotive in me, from almost the beginning.
How about a hero? Who is your hero now that you're an adult?
Good question. Again, I'm going to say I've been blessed. I've had a lot of great mentors over the years. That's really, when I look back on my career, I wouldn't be here where I am today if people hadn't taken an interest in me, been willing to share their experiences and their knowledge, especially with the young guy. I had plenty of energy and plenty of work ethic, but building that knowledge, I have to accredit the mentors that have been in my career that have helped me get to where I am today.
Are you a text guy or an email guy?
I'm a text guy. I like to, let's get at it as quick as we can communicate as possible.
Adventure vacation or a relaxing vacation?
I'm more in the adventure side. Let's go climb something, jump off something, let's swim something. Let's go spice it up. I'm a little bit on the adventure side.
Is there any hobby that you've always wanted to try? I have a lot of hobbies. I have a lot of things that I enjoy doing, but something that I haven't
experienced, believe it or not, is pottery. I think it's amazing when I see, I'm not very artistic, but when I see people that are, how they take a lump of clay and an hour later they've got a little masterpiece sitting there. It's pretty impressive. So
cool. Last question. Best piece of advice you've received?
work it like it's your last job you'll ever have, and you'll do okay in life. Don't get ahead of yourself. Head down, work hard, show up, be accountable, and when you get the chance, pay it forward.
John, thank you so much for joining us on AMN Drive Time, sponsored by our friends at Ishin.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
AMN Drive Time is sponsored by Ishin, your trusted and reliable source for aftermarket automotive components and technology. Visit IshinAftermarket.com for more information.